All right, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to CopTalk.tv. All right. So, listen, before I get into this video, I just want to let you know I'll be live on here tonight at 6:30 p.m. UK time. If you want to come along and have a natter about all things LFC. And my mates asked me out bowling tonight as well, and I said, no, I've got a date with some very important people, all right? So, don't let me down. You better turn up. What was I going to say? Right, so, David Ornstein has opened the door on a possible change of manager at Liverpool Football Club. And I'm going to explain why to you in a minute, right? So, David Ornstein, if you don't know, and Paul Joyce, the only two journalists in the world that you need to listen to regarding Liverpool Football Club. It's that simple. I've been here nearly 30 years. I know a thing or two about these journalists, and I know that those two are the only two you need to listen to. The rest, we call them the clique of LFC journalists. They all agree with each other. They get a little bit fed to them every now and then. But the ones closest to Liverpool Football Club are Ornstein and Joyce. Now, Joyce is more close to the people that run the club on a day-to-day basis. If I was reading something from Joyce, and he's the most important one to me, the one that I pay the most attention to, with Joyce, I'd be thinking, what does Michael Edwards want me to know? If I'm listening to Ornstein, I always think, what does John Henry want me to know? Right? So they do cross over, they do know different people within the club at different levels, but that's usually how it is, in my opinion. And over recent years, you know, they're like this as to who the better one is, who's more connected. So at the moment, I would say Paul Joyce, you know, because, well, I called him Born Again Joyce. Do you remember? We all got nicknames for everyone on here. Born Again Joyce, when Edwards came back to the club, because he suddenly started having all this information and stuff, right? Ornstein sometimes is up here. They go like that, really. They're the only two you need to listen to. But you've also got to be very careful. You've got to look for club messaging. And you work with the club, so if you work with the club, they give you stuff every now and then, right? So how does that relationship work? You've got to give them something as well. So I'm not saying they will lie to you, but sometimes they might not tell you everything. You've got to really, really analyse everything they say. Now, Ornstein, who we're talking about in this video, Ornstein has been very much, you know, FSG is steadfast behind Arne Slot. You know, they intend to go into next season with Arne Slot. A lot of intentions and steadfastly behind, but there's no sign of a contract extension. So I don't know, a little bit suspicious to me. I think he'll be going. I've been saying it for months. And I think when the season concludes, that, you know, we will have confirmation of that, right, fairly quickly, I think. Can't let it drag on. So when the season ends, they've either got to say we've given him an extension, or they've got to prove he's staying, or they've got to say he's off. So, and I think it'll be off, and I hope he does off. Right. I just want to play a little clip to you. Right now, remember Ornstein. You know, basically, if you listen to him, you would think that Slot was going to be here. Although every time I've seen him say something, I always say to you, he always leaves that little bit. The intentions are at the present time, which means all of those things can change, right? Listen to this clip and you'll understand why I think he's just opened the door a little bit. Are you ready? Oh, my microphone's here.
You know, with new managers in the form of Michael Carrick permanently at Manchester United, and it looks like Enzo Maresca at Manchester City. Let's see what happens with Liverpool, but their expectations.
Let's see what happens at Liverpool. I'll play that back because maybe I cut a little bit off there.
With Liverpool at Manchester City, let's see what happens with Liverpool, but their expectations are so high. And Chelsea under
right, so they're just talking about, you know, possible managerial. I'm going to get it one more time so you can listen to it, right, again.
You know, with new managers in the form of Michael Carrick permanently at Manchester United, and it looks like Enzo Maresca at Manchester City. Let's see what happens with Liverpool, but their expectations are so high.
Let's see what happens at Liverpool. Let's see what happens at Liverpool doesn't sound like the Ornstein that's been telling us other things. Let's see what happens. If I say that to you, like, let's see what happens, you know, it basically means I don't know what's going to happen. You know, so he's been trotting out a very different line. That, in my opinion, is him opening the door and saying there could be a change at Liverpool. Am I wrong? Am I clutching? Am I looking for something to satisfy my agenda? I don't have an agenda. Honestly, I'm more interested in my local football club at the moment than what's going on there because it's boring me to death, right? So, transparency, I want to change a manager. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck who it is. Mike Bassett will do me, Bertie Bassett, anyone, right? I want to change a manager because I miss being involved with my Liverpool. Right? Liverpool's been my life, my absolute life. but there's no agenda here. I'm not trying to find something because they will do what they want to do. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not a Twitter twat. I have no idea. I'm not going to pretend to you that I know what's happening. But I've been here a long time, all right? And I study these journalists and what they say. And that, to me, doesn't sound like someone that's saying, well, Arne Slot's going to be manager next year, because he literally opened the door and said, let's see what happens at Liverpool. Would you agree with that? You let me know in the comment section. All right, guys? See you at 6:30 tonight. If you want to support my channel, you can thumbs up the video. You can drop me a comment. You can use the love out on the video, which is a super thanks. I always give a shout out to everyone that does that in my morning briefings. There's a channel membership. There's a VIP membership, which is this lovely website here behind me. I think everything's in the video description. I know what is in the video description. There's a link to Revolut. That's my fuck it fund. That's my beer kitty on a weekend. So if you want to get me a beer, there's always that link in there, and you make a man very happy. But more importantly, you're here watching. I would like your opinion on this video today if you're going to comment on any of them.